Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're an aspiring musician or producer, you're in the right place. Today we're talking about something we all love, music gear. I made a short form video on this on Instagram, which you can check. And I thought I could elaborate more in here. With so many affordable options available nowadays, it's easier than ever to build a fantastic studio setup. But how do you choose the right equipment? Let's dive into the key factors which you should consider. In the past, owning studio-grade gear was often out of reach for many musicians. Instruments like Synths, used by Duran Duran and Kate Bush, were rare, and owning a full-fledged recording studio was just a dream. But over the past 25 years, technology, manufacturing, and globalization have changed the game. Today, many companies have filled the void by creating affordable versions of classic gear. You can have a fully analog recording studio for a fraction of the cost from the 80s or 90s. But the big question is it the same? Let's explore 5 crucial factors to consider when investing in new equipment. Whether it's a keyboard or guitar or any other instrument, it needs to feel right. And let's break this down. The action of a keyboard or feel of a guitar neck is crucial. It needs to be comfortable for you to play for long periods. For instance, if you're a keyboardist, look for keys that have responsive action and a weight that feels natural. For a guitarist, make sure your guitar has a comfortable neck and make sure you set it up with the action that feels right for you and for your hands and purposes. Instruments should stay in tune and be easy to tune. This is particularly important for analog synths and guitars. Check how well an instrument holds its tuning, especially after a rigorous play. Consider the ergonomics of the instrument. Is it comfortable to hold and play? Does it strain your hands or back? These factors can significantly affect your performance and longevity as a musician. Overall, if it doesn't feel comfortable, it will hinder your creativity and performance. For example, this Les Paul replica is made by Harley Benton, and it's a really nice instrument, but it weighs a ton. In the studio, it does exactly what I needed to do, but I would be hesitant to take it on a road with me and carry it during long sound checks and long gigs. Consider if the equipment suits your setup. Will an analog synth or outboard reverb speed up your workflow or will it slow you down? Think about integration. How well does the new gear integrate with your new existing setup? Will you need additional equipment or adapters to make it work seamlessly? For example, I'm using a patch bay in my studio because it's a quick and easy way to integrate outboard in my workflow. However, if you only have limited amounts of inputs, this could become tricky, so keep that in mind. Consider your workflow. Does a new piece of gear simplify your process or add complexity to it? Sometimes more advanced equipment can actually slow you down if it requires extensive setup and tweaking. I always wanted an analog spring reverb unit that is separate from any guitar amp. When I got one last year, I can safely say I've not used it more than a handful of times, simply because it wasn't giving me the added depth I was looking for. Later I found some other spring reverb units that were more suitable for my usages. On the other hand, when I first got my Behringer Model D, I only did it as a way of experimenting how would an analog synth feel in my workflow. And since then, analog synths became a staple in almost every track that I work on. Do you have enough space in your studio for new gear? A large piece of equipment might be powerful, but impractical if your studio space is limited. Many people sell bespoke and practical solutions for particular products. So if you need synth mounts, rack mounts, or anything similar, I would look them up first on eBay. Make sure you have the necessary power supply and outlets for additional gear. Some high-end equipment might require more power than your current setup can handle. If you want a high-end preamp, like a Chandler, for example, bear in mind it has a hefty power supply. Another common example is the 500 series format units, which require dedicated chassis. Different companies make them in different price points. Thinking about these aspects ensures that each new piece of equipment will enhance rather than hinder your music production. Build quality is another critical factor. You want equipment that is durable and will last for years. Here's what to look for. Materials. Check the materials used in the construction. Solid metal chassis, high quality components, and durable switches are indicators for good build quality. In guitars, you'd look for solid top woods, high quality tuners, saddles, and electronics. Look how well the components are put together. Are there any loose parts or signs of poor craftsmanship? A well-built piece of gear will feel solid and reliable. Can the equipment be easily modified or repaired? Being able to upgrade components like preamps or power supplies can extend the life of your gear. These matching pairs of preamps and EQs, for example, they were not high-end when I bought them, but I knew they were made from discrete components, meaning that they were pure analog without any printed circuits in their design. I recently took advantage of that by modding these units with different op amps and transformers, which gave them quite an upgraded sound. I also had different pickups installed on this guitar, which is a great way to upgrade any inexpensive electric guitar. A well-built piece of gear is long-term investment, saving you money and headaches down the line. Value for money is always a key consideration. Is it worth saving money on a clone, or should you really invest in the original? For example, is it worth spending £7,000 on an original American Fender? Let's break this down, cost versus quality. Sometimes clones are 90% of the quality at a fraction of a price. However, there can be significant differences in sound, build quality, and reliability and longevity. You should consider how the equipment is likely to last. An original well-made piece might cost more upfront, but you save money in the long run by not needing frequent repairs or replacements. I originally bought my beloved Behringer Model D off the second-hand market, but after a few months of working flawlessly, it simply stopped working and repairing it was simply not viable. I realized that a product like this must be bought new with warranty. Original, high-quality gear often retains its value better than cheap clones. If you plan to sell your gear in the future, investing in the original might be more cost-effective. A lot of the studio gear I bought in the past 10-15 years went up in price, but only the good stuff like the SSL or the 1176 compressors. Whenever possible, try the equipment before making a purchase. This hands-on experience can make you determine if the cost difference is justified. Quite a few shops nowadays offer free trials, so it might be worth looking into it if you're good at posting stuff, which I'm not. Finally, and most importantly, how does it sound? The sound quality often sums up all the other points. Here's what to consider. Does the clone accurately replicate the sound of the original? Listen to side-by-side comparisons and judge with your own ears. Sometimes slight differences in sound can actually add unique character to your music. Decide if the character of the clone is something you can work with creatively. These 1176s are not original Uris, but made by Herbal Audio, high suitable, and they tend to saturate more than the original unit. I do love it because I get more excitement from them on any source. On the other hand, this Clark Technique 1176 has a similar sound character, but it's very clean. But it's great for mono sources that don't saturate or don't need much saturation like acoustic guitars. Think about how you'll be using the gear. In some contexts, the slight difference in sound might be negligible, while in others it could be critical. If all you do is heavy guitar music, and all your sound needs is a perfect Gibson Les Paul tones through valve amps, it is something you simply need to have. However, if you're only peppering in heavier guitars on some of your tracks occasionally, having a good sounding Les Paul replica is not going to be a problem at all. Check out user reviews and sound demos online. Other musicians' experiences can provide valuable insight into the sound quality and reliability of the gear. But remember, it's the internet. Other people's opinion can only represent themselves, so your ears should be the ultimate judge. Trust your instincts and choose the gear that inspires you the most. So there you have it, 5 essential factors to consider when choosing new music gear. Playability, suitability for your setup, build quality, value for money, and sound quality. By carefully evaluating these aspects, you can make better decisions and find the gear that's perfect for you. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for more tips and videos. Thank you for watching and happy music making.